Oh, hey guys, welcome back to Too Far Gone Media. Marketeur here, and unfortunately don't have any good news. Nope. Looks like our tyrannical Trudeau has decided to invoke the Emergencies Act. Now today he's going to notify the PMs and whatever levels of government he needs to notify because he does not need their permission because this is happening in more than one province. He can authoritarily do it himself, which sounds kind of sketchy of a loophole that we need to deal with in the future. And so the Emergencies Act is literally a breath away from the War Measures Act, which would be, if you're American, that would be equivalent to martial law. So we're just a step away from martial law, or more like a breath away, or a beard's hair away. So let's take a quick look at the actual War Measures Act here. Now, all right. So here's the Emergencies Act, 1985. Okay, I want to bring up a little section here. In taking such special temporary measures would be a subject to the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms and the Canadian Bill of Rights, and must have regard to the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, partly with respect to those fundamental rights that are not to be limited or abridged even in a national emergency. So he's already breaching our civil freedoms, our civil rights, and our civil liberties, whatever you want to call it, from the Canadian Bill of Rights, forcing us to take medication, forcing us, period. Again, we're their boss. That's what this says, but he's not listening to that. And he's going to use it, the Emergencies Act, against us, even though it's going against the Bill of Rights, and he's going to use it to break more rules from the Canadian Bill of Rights. That's absolutely fucking insane. All right. Let's go right down to the part that's really going to fuck with the people here. And that's the orders and regulations. That's really going to mess up with people. So this section here, okay, let's just start right it off right at the beginning there, because might as well, right? While the declaration of public welfare emergency is in effect, the governor and the council may make such orders or regulations with the respect of the following matters as the governor in council believes. So whatever they want, because they play God, right? That's pretty much what this is kind of saying. On reasonable grounds are necessary for dealing with all the emergencies. Yeah, but they just make up the shit, right? So let's go to A. A, the regulations or prohibition. How do you say that? Prohibition? The regulations of prohibition of the travel to or from or within any specified area where necessary for the protection and the health or safety of individuals. Okay? So that's pretty much what they've been doing. And they didn't invoke this Emergencies Act. That's interesting. The evacuation of persons and the removal of personal property from any specified area and the making of arrangements for the adequate care and protection of the persons and properties. Okay. The requisition, used, or disposition of property. Yeah, written by lawyers. I don't even know what the fuck that means. The authorization of a direction to a person or any person of a class of a person. What in the fuck does even that mean? To render essential services to a type that person or a person of that class is competent to provide, and the provision of reasonable compensation in respect of services to rendered. Okay. Whatever. Again, good old government writes stuff, rules down in such a way that you cannot understand them without having a lawyer with you. Great. Wow. Really for the people, eh? The regulation of the distribution and availability of essential goods, services, and resources. Okay. The authorization and making of emergency payments. Okay. It's more like they're taking away those payments. The establishment of emergency and shelter and hospitals. That really shouldn't be part of it, but it is. The assessment of damage and any works or undertaking and the repair, replacement, or restoration thereof. The assessment of damage environment and the elimination of alleviation of the damages and the imposition. On summary conviction of a fine not exceeding $500 or imprisonment not exceeding 6 months or both. That's kind of weird. So 6 months in jail is worth $500. Okay. That doesn't make sense. An indictment of a fine not exceeding $5,000 or imprisonment not exceeding 5 years. Jesus. Or both that fine and the imprisonment. For contravention of any order or regulation made under this sector. And then there's restrictions. I'll leave access to this page down below, guys. So pretty much what's going to happen is the Prime Minister is going to notify the Senate or whoever the fuck the garbage people are that he is going to do this. It takes a few days before he can put it in effect. And the truckers are going to need us more than ever now. If this is going to put us in literally a pinnacle of civil war. I mean, you got the anti-protesters that are just angry and want to fight on behest of their liberal mind-melding news and information. And then you got the actual politicians that are also threatening with violence. And yeah, it seems like the only people who are able to think for themselves and do their own research are the people out there fighting for freedom. And the rest think that, if you have to wear a mask to go in the store, that you have a right. Yeah. Please read the definition of a right and tell me if you're right about your right. You see what I did there? Yeah. So, yeah. Not to go in too deep down the rabbit hole on this one, lads. Yeah. Mark Couture for Too Far Gone Media. Be safe out there, my brothers and sisters, and stay sexy, Canada. Ooh, yeah. Wah, wah.